Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Estancia Lapacho, the realistic series set in South America. And I've been told numerous times that we know for a fact that this place is in South America. South America? I've been saying I'm not sure which country it is in South America. I've been thinking it was Argentina, but I've been told several times that in actual fact it's Paraguay. Realismus Modding released a Geo mod to go alongside the Seasons mod, which is the Paraguay mod. But I wasn't certain if that was definitely the case, if that was definitely it was definitely from the right place. However, I have also been told that if you look at the aeroplane that is over in the hangar, you can actually see on there that the hang on, what's going on here? Our aeroplane has disappeared completely. I'm bringing this one all the way up like this because I've been asked to do something that I did the other day and I couldn't. I said about it, I said how it had happened, and somebody has asked me if I can just very quickly show you what happens if you bring the drone all the way up and you switch it off. But yeah, apparently the aeroplane has number plates on it plates on it that say Paraguay on them, so it does indicate that this is Paraguay, this map. And I've never actually taken a bit of time to look at the aerial view of this map from all the way up here, and it does actually look pretty impressive. I like this. You can see all our work that we've been doing down on our fields. We've got most of it is now planted. We've got canola being planted over there. You can just see just above, it's sort of just now changing colour. And then we've got the big field over there that we've got to plant with corn. So we've got to buy a seed drill for that one. So anyway, yes, I was all the way up here, and then I switched the thing off, and down I went, and down and down and down. I'm curious to see if it's going to do the same as it did last time, which was that. It went right down through the map, and I was unable to do anything with it. So, yeah, then I had to get it, and I had to reset it. So, we'll just very quickly grab hold of that one. I've got to find it now in our list of machinery here. There we go. So, I'll take that one, and I'll reset it. Yes. Okay. Right, so, and it's back. But that's what happens if you switch the engine off when you're too high. It actually just punches down through the map, and you lose your drone. So, yeah, if you're using a realistic thing where you can't reset your vehicle, your drone's gone for good. Which, I mean, it kind of does make sense because you've just lifted it right up into the air and then dropped it from a great height, so it's probably not going to do it a lot of good. So we've got the rest of our concrete to finish pouring today. We've only got, there's just the area inside here that we're going to do, and then we are done with the concrete. The concrete will be finished. So we just lower that one down, and it should just start spread. There we go. Excellent. Spreading out quite nicely. So we are literally, we're just pouring the concrete here, and then as soon as that's done, the yard is finished. All we got to do then is place down some buildings. And incidentally, I have seen there's a whole load of new mods have come out in the last week or so. One of which in particular seemed quite interesting, and I thought it would actually suit this map really well. So we'll take a look at that one in a little bit. Before we go much further, though, we've got to do our weekly random event. And this time it's not too bad. You may have noticed that the quantity of money that we have has changed a little bit. I rolled a 3 for the first roll, which is animals, and a 5 for the second one, which is animals give a higher than normal yield, add 10,000 to your account. So it was nice and simple. The animals have done exceptionally well. We'd had far more milk than we'd normally expect from them, and we have an extra $10,000 in our account. So I changed that before I started up this episode, which is, it's really nice to actually gain something because we've been losing an awful lot lately. So I'm really pleased about that. That's something that's quite nice. It is good to be able to get something back after we've lost so much, especially from our animals, with them rampaging across the countryside, damaging machinery, damaging crops, and all sorts of other things. Also, we are going to, once we finish doing the yard here, we're going to be starting the trees up at the top of the map, and we're going to be removing all of the trees up there. I said, did you want me to chop the trees down and then sell some of them as logs, or whichever ones we could sell as logs, or did you want me to just chip everything up, turn them all into wood chips, and make a massive great big pile and then sell the wood chips? I had 1,520 people answer the question, and of those 1,520 people, 399 want me to sell all the logs that I can and then chip the rest, and 1,121 people want me to chip up everything. The primary reason being given that I could see in the comment sections from the 3 videos last week was chip them all up because wood chips are worth more money than just standard logs. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll chip up everything today. We're just going to be getting the chainsaw. We are going to get a tree harvester. We're going to get a tree harvester, well, if we get to it today. I'm hoping we'll get to it today. We will get a tree harvester and we'll chop down some of the palm trees with the tree harvester because I'd really like to do that. But then we'll use the chainsaw and chop down a load of them as well, and we're going to have to get a stump grinder up there to grind some of those stumps. But there is a new stump grinder that's come out that might actually be really useful for that. But before we do that, we'll use the Brux chipper, and we will use that one to shred up all the trees and make a huge, great big pile of wood chips. So that's the plan for this week. Hopefully we'll be able to get most of it done this week. But you know what I'm like with plans. I almost invariably lay out the plans and then don't follow them. It's just something that happens. I don't set out to do this. It's just something that happens. It's just one of those things. Yeah? It's not my fault. It's all due to circumstances beyond my control. It really is. Let me just get a little bit more of this concrete laid down, and then we can take a look at this week's weekly question. Right, it's coming along quite nicely here now, and we've just got a few more little bits to do. A couple strips down on this side, and probably 3 or 4 over on that side, and then we'll be done. And all of our concrete will be poured. It will, ideally we want to wait a week before we start thinking about putting the sheds up. Now, some people would argue that we should have put the sheds up first and then poured the concrete round it. However, my counter-argument to that is that it's actually easier to pour the concrete over a large flat area like this. Get it all leveled out and done. Then we can dig holes. We'll just chip through the concrete, because if it's only been there a week, it's actually going to be reasonably soft, and we can chip through it fairly quickly. So we get through the concrete, and then we can start putting up the sheds, and we've got a nice flat surface to work on for all of the machinery that we'll be using to erect all of the sheds that need to go up. And on top of that, you've also got the you got this nice hard base underneath them, and then you've just got a concrete around the poles that go into the ground. You've only got to pour in a little tiny bit of concrete around that and level it off. If you're pouring concrete after building all the sheds, you've got to do a load more leveling work, but it's also quite difficult to get a level right across the site because of the, all the poles and the walls of the sheds and stuff like that all being in the way. It just generally makes it a little bit more difficult. So I feel it's a lot easier to pour the concrete first and then build the sheds afterwards. And in real life, I've actually done both situations. I've actually worked on both sort of situations. I've done we've built a shed and then poured concrete in and around the shed after it was done, and then I've also poured concrete first and then gone along a month later and we built the shed on top of the concrete that we'd already poured. And overall, the job was a lot easier doing the shed second. It was definitely easier doing the shed second. I mean, both jobs were in the winter in the UK, so they're both similar circumstances. It was cold, it was wet, it was muddy, and the job that we were doing with the concrete already poured, there was considerably less mud. It was actually, the whole job went a lot easier because of the lack of mud around, because the only dirt was the holes that we dug to put the supports in. We did all the supports first, we got all of those laid in, and then once we'd done that, we then cleared everything away. We completely cleared all the mud away so that there was nothing there, and we had the concrete, and then the rest of it was just on a dry, flat slab of concrete. Everything went up, and it was clean, it was easy, it was beautiful. But then when we were doing it with outpouring the concrete first, it was a lot muddier, it was more difficult. Generally, the job itself was harder, and then we had to pour the concrete afterwards, which again was more difficult than just pouring a slab. So my personal experience, I would say pour the concrete first. I don't want that one, I want this one here. And we've got ground type concrete, remove grass. I said remove grass, yes, I'm going to change that to no. And the ground type, I want to change this through now: grass, gravel, leaves, rock, mud, paving slabs, dirt, meadow, lawn, bright dirt, original ground. Bright dirt has been added, I'm guessing. Original ground is the one that I want, so I can get rid of that. Now, we're sort of done with this roller, but I've got to be very careful where I place it. There's one thing that we do have to be very, very careful about, is where we actually place this one, because it does delete ground, it deletes grass, it does all sorts of things. So we're going to go and we're going to stick this one in a corner way down here where it's not actually going to interfere with the rest of our game. We've got to put a little bit of seed in for the seed drill. It has been pointed out that we've spent all of this time doing our first major planting. We've done one harvest, and I do agree we have spent a long time. However, previous series we've not really done this much planting. We tended to just do a few fields rather than this huge quantity of land that we're doing in this series. So sort of my argument is that you know, we're doing a lot more this time than we have done previously. And I'm going to bring this one back here. I'm going to see what happens if we place this one down on a few shrubs. Just going to drop it right down there, and if I roll, does it delete the shrubs? It doesn't delete the shrubs, but it does delete the grass by the look of it. Doesn't really matter. We're going to unhitch that one right there, and we're going to leave it there. So unhitch that one. So yes, I will be getting a bigger seed drill so that it will go a bit faster next time, but I wanted to try and do it with a smaller seed drill this time. And I'm not just going to get another couple of those seed drills. I'd prefer to get one slightly bigger than the one that we've got. We need a different type of seed drill in order to plant the corn. It's a seed drill that we don't currently have, so that's one thing that we need to... We could probably get that one today and now, because we don't have it available at the moment. Before I do that, though, my weekly question. I'm not going to be building any sheds today. Alright, I'm going to leave this. We need to leave the concrete to set for a week anyway, so this is going to work out quite nicely. So let me just go into here, and I want to show you one of the new mods that I picked up. And I'm quite pleased with this one. I quite like it. I don't know what you're going to think of it, because this is a realistic series, and so it's this one here. We've got round bale storage and we've got square bale storage. Now, we've got both, so we'll probably be wanting to use both. But what it does, just bring this one out and I'll show you over here. We can't place them too close to this side, but we've got all of this space back here anyway. So my thought was actually I was going to bring it over here and I was going to place it down here. Now, you do have to place it on the level. I want to go that way. And place this one down. There is one for wooden pallets and there's one for wool as well. So we could use... well, I don't think we're going to be doing sheep in this series, so we don't really need to worry about the wool. But yes, what you've got is this one right here. You place it there. You bring the bales along and you drop them in the front of it. So we could put one there and we could put a round bale one next to it over there somewhere. Probably in about there, something like that. So there's a little bit of concrete in behind the shed. It'll allow for drainage, be about there, I think. We do need to get them level. It does state quite clearly in the original description that you've got to have them fairly level. So we've got these here, and what you do is you put the bales on these pads in the front, and then they get automatically stacked into the shed. So you don't have to physically stack them in the sheds yourself, but you do have a visual of the bales there, and then you can come along and you can pull them out, and they get placed in front of the shed. I really like the idea of this mod. This really appeals to me. You know what I feel about manually stacking bales? I'll do it when I've got to, but I prefer not to. I've done so much of it in real life. It's just not something I particularly enjoy. It's fiddly in this game, and the bales don't perform overly realistically anyway, and it feels very wrong to me when I'm trying to do it. So I do try to avoid doing bale handling where I can. So for me, I think these are absolutely perfect. These are absolutely wonderful, wonderful things. They're awesome. You just put the bales on the front, so we can use the auto-load trailer, or we can use the artisan stacker, or whatever we use. Dump the bales in the front, and they get automatically placed into the shed, and then we can pull them out later on if we want to. But I want to know what you think of them. Do you want me to use these two? We'll get two of these sheds, and we'll put them down along with some other stuff as well, to go in on our new concrete pad for our machinery and that. Do you want me to use these bale storage systems here, these bale storage sheds? Yes or no? It's your vote. It's your game. Head into the comment section down below. Let us know which one you want and why. And of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right-hand corner. Now, Next thing that we want to do is, well, actually the first thing that we want to do is we want to very quickly just go through to this one over here, and we're going to run round and top up our seed drill so that we can keep that one running. Then we need to go and get a corn seed drill, and we can get that one started on the big field because he's finished doing cultivating, and then we can come back and we can take a look at the trees. And while we race over here as rapidly as we possibly can, what else was I going to say? You know, my mind is just now completely gone blank. There was something that I needed to say, and I can't remember what it was. Let me get this one loaded up a second. Right, they're underway again. The cultivator just had a little bit more to go before it's finished. I remember what I was going to say now, and I will tell you, once I get down to the shop, we need to pick out a new seed drill so that we can get our corn planted. I have decided on purchasing a Vardestad row crop planter. I feel that this one is probably the best one for the map. I did have a few people saying that I should be getting the bigger one over here, this Stara drill right here, although that one doesn't actually plant row crop, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I feel that this one is a bit too big for what we're doing. And so I was talking about that last week. I was talking about what we should use on the map and whether or not we should be going really, really big or not, so sort of T9 quad track type size. And I've had a lot of responses on that one, and most people seem to think that we should be sticking with what we've got. This tractor here being about the maximum size tractor that we should use on this map. Nothing very much bigger. Maybe later on in the series, go just a little bit bigger. And almost everybody that talked about the length of this series wanted a really long series because of the potential that we've got here for advancing the farm and putting more fields together, expanding our fields, that sort of thing. I am not committing myself any way at the moment. If we find that the series starts to get a little bit dull, a little bit repetitive, and we're running out of ideas to do on this map, then we'll move on. I'm also aware that some people don't particularly like this map. Unfortunately, I love this map. I say unfortunately for those people that don't like this map, they don't like the feel of it. I can understand that because I get onto a map and I just don't like the feel of it. It's a well-made map, but I don't like the feel of it. This one, there are people who are not going to like the feel of this map. I completely understand that, 100%, I really do. However, me personally, this map, the feeling of this map is absolutely wonderful. I love this map. I genuinely love this map. The brightness, the color of it, and I don't know, there's just something about it. I lived in the tropics when I was younger, from the age of 9 until the age of 12, and so it was only a few years, but those years were very, very memorable, and I got a lot of memories, experiences, and so on in the 3.5 years that I lived out there. I lived in Papua New Guinea, and it was... You know, why am I going over here? I got nothing in this thing yet. I need to go over to that truck first and just top up the fertilizer and everything. But yes, while the feel of this map very much reminds me of when I lived in the tropics. There's something about it, and it's very reminiscent of when I lived there, and sort of the feeling that I would... Yeah, I can't really explain it, but it does bring back a lot of memories of what was possibly some of the happiest years of my childhood. I had a good childhood, I had a great childhood, but those in particular were some of the happiest memories that I had from my childhood, and this map does bring a lot of that back. It's reigniting some of those memories, some of those feelings and things like that. And for that reason, I want to stay on this. That's why I like this map. That's something that's it's for me personally is absolutely wonderful. I can fully appreciate that this map might not be for everybody. This map might just... Of course, there's always going to be maps that just literally don't appeal to you at all. And I really do appreciate that there is going to be plenty of people like that feel that way about this map. But unfortunately, I'm the one at the helm, and I genuinely love this map, so I'm not in any hurry to leave. So I do apologize to those of you that really don't like it, but that's my reasons. That's why I like it. That's why I feel the way I do about this map. I always like to try to give you reasons for what I do and how I'm doing things. The reason that I want to stay here and I want to keep working with this is because of just it really does make me happy playing this map. genuinely feel happy whenever I'm playing this map, and it is for those kinds of reasons. I loved it when I lived in the tropics, and if personal circumstances had allowed, I would be living in the tropics right now. I would, but personal circumstances don't allow that, and I probably won't. I will probably stay in the UK, and I will probably retire here in the UK. I very much doubt that I would move to the tropics much later in life. I just don't see that happening at all. So yes, I've got happy memories from then, and that's pretty much how it's going to stay, as memories rather than anything else. So let me just bring that one in through here, and we will start. And oh no, I don't want the vehicle extension on this one. I want this one just to be standard AI. So we'll take that one off, and then we will start it up. And I know that I haven't cultivated this piece around the side here, but I said we weren't really going to worry about that. We'll just ignore that because we did the ploughing and everything. I don't want to leave it any longer before we get started. The one thing I don't like about the row crop planters is just how little seed you get in them compared to the fertilizer. That's my major complaint with these machines, but it's still working, and we've still got a decent planter here. So yes, most people were saying about the size of the machines is that they don't want me to go all the way up to like Case Quad Track T9 type size. They want me to stay around this type of size and not go very much bigger, at least for now. So that's what I'm going to do for now. There are people that do want me to go bigger, but most of the comments were about me sticking sort of around this type of size and working with what we've got at the moment. And then maybe later on, if we do decide to do some serious upgrades, we could then justify going for bigger tractors, bigger machinery all the way across. But at the moment, we don't have anything to justify it. We will upgrade our seed drill for our next planting season, because that other seed drill is too small for what we want. So we're going to upgrade it. The reason I wanted to use that one this time round was because I wanted it to be Stara. I wanted to use Stara. The only reason that I wouldn't upgrade it is if we took tractors with front links and we could use the Kuhn extension tank. I don't know how well that would work with the Stara seed drill. It might not. We'd have to sort of wait and see. So we will work on that. But anyway, we will be upgrading them for those of you who were thinking that I'm spending too long doing this, and we will move on to it. So let me just run in here. Now, apparently it says somewhere on this airplane about Paraguay, and I don't know where it says on this airplane about Paraguay. Is that what the ZPAAP is? Is that something to do with it? Because that's the only numbers that I can see on here at the moment. I'm looking round. I am looking round. There's a light there on the front. Am I just being really thick and missing something completely? I could be. It would not surprise me. I am generally able to do that quite effectively. Now, we've got a toolbox here. Somebody has suggested that there is a toolbox around that will do repair work, but I don't think this is the actual mod toolbox. I think this is just a standard toolbox that won't do that. Right, I'm not seeing any number plates here. I'm going to assume, because I don't see any other plates or numbers or letters or anything, so I'm going to make the assumption that this here is something to do with Paraguay. I don't know anything about aviation codes or anything like that, and I don't see any other number plates. You're probably screaming at the screen right now, telling me exactly where it is. I don't blame you. I get this a lot. I really do. I get this a huge amount. And I go right past things, I don't see them, but I'm assuming that that's there is something to do with Paraguay. So, is there something on the shed, maybe? Something I've missed out here? I'm not sure. Tell me in the comment section down below, what have I missed? I've been told several times that it's to do with the aeroplane. There is clues on the aeroplane to say exactly where we are. It's telling us the exact name, location, and everything that we need to know about this place. And I'm looking, and I can't see anything. It doesn't... It's not standing out to me. It really isn't. Right, I'm going to unhitch that one there, and I'm going to jump into the pickup. We're going to go and take a look up at the top of the farm. We have almost finished planting everything except that one field of corn. The seed drill that's working over here has done really well. That seed drill has covered a lot of acres. We got a lot of stuff planted. We got our sugarcane planted in here, and we've got all of that planted in there along with fertilizer. I just want to take a quick look a minute, because we've gone through and we've cultivated everything as well. The reason being, we wanted to be able to use the get rid of the ploughing thing. So we've ploughed everything except field 14 down there, just that little bit of it. We've got one layer of fertilizer over most of our fields, so we do actually need to do some fertilizing. We can't until they've gone through to the first growth stage. A lot of it up here does have some stuff done. That one there we cultivated, and so we cultivated in the fertilizer. So yeah, those fields there, they need one more layer of fertilizer, and all of this needs 2 layers of fertilizer. So we do need a lot more fertilizer to go on. We'll do that next episode. We'll get started on spreading some fertilizer somewhere. We'll probably use this. Well, we've got the star. I'm just wondering whether we should do spray or something else. I don't know yet. We'll wait and see. So we're going to start pushing through the bushes here and see what we've got. We're going to need to keep these trees. Oh wait, tank is empty. Right, who's helper Q? Oh, it's that one over there. Really empty already? Well, we'll leave that one for now. We'll deal with that at the beginning of next episode, because otherwise we'll run out of time. Right, it's going to be difficult because we've got all the shrubs and everything in the way. Now, I don't currently have a chainsaw. We've got these trees here can be cut down with a tree harvester, so we can take those down with the tree harvester. And then we've got these trees over here that we'll need to cut down by hand and get them out. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't look like there are any trees that you can get to replace them. I don't think you can buy new palm trees to place them down. I don't think there's any tree planters at the moment that will allow you to buy palm trees to replant, which is a real shame. So I'm going to buy a chainsaw. I'm actually just going to order one here, and it's going to be a express delivery, so it'll be brought up to us. I always go for either Stihl or Husqvarna because those are the two that I've used. I've used McCulloch in the past, but I found it to be an absolutely atrocious piece of machinery. It wasn't a chainsaw, it was actually a strimmer. But I genuinely despised that thing. And Johnsud as well, I've seen them being used. I've never heard anybody say these are really good. Stihl and Husqvarna are the ones that I've had dealings with, and I found both of them to be absolutely superb, reliable machines that will keep going for years and years and years. I own a Husqvarna chainsaw. It's nearly 20 years old, and you only got to pull the cord about twice, and the thing will start up. It's fine. There's no problem with that. So yes, we're going to go for that one right there. There we go. Back and back. I'm pretty sure it's a Husqvarna. It's going to be really embarrassing. It's either a Stihl or a Husqvarna. I genuinely can't actually remember what my chainsaw is. And I do have one. I definitely have a chainsaw. I just don't use it very often because I live in the middle of a town. So, well, I live on the outskirts of a rural town. I don't generally use chainsaws very much where I live. I have no need to. I don't have any trees on my property. Well, I got a tree on my property, but I'm certainly not going to be chainsawing it down anytime soon. So we got this beautiful tree here, but we got no way of replanting these trees. So one thing they didn't add into the game, into the base game, was any new trees. So you've got the oak, the maple, and the birch in there. You don't have fir trees you can get. And then if you go back here and then you go into the pallets for the tree planter, it says pallet saplings, right? You got the sugarcane pallet over here. And then these are all add-ons over here. Foil wraps. We've got sand pallets and soil pallets over here. I want to do something with those at some point. And yeah, so pallet saplings. I think this one here is just going to be conifers. Unless there's something that's like built into the map that will have us plant palm trees instead of pine trees. I suspect it's going to just stay exactly as it is. So I'm just going to look at this tree. We're going to cut it, and we're just going to see what it will do as far as... Have I got the... Please tell me that I have the... yes, I do. I was just sure I've got the wood chips mod on. I do have the wood chips mod, so that's all good. We wanted the wood chips mod, and if I bring that one down through, and then we can go over onto the next bit. So we are at least like de-limbing all of the branches on here. That does work. I'm very pleased that that works. I really like that. I love also the contours and everything for this tree. It does seem pretty good. I like the sort of the way that the branches are twisting and moving around. It feels quite realistic with it. The tree does have a realistic appearance to it. I mean, yes, you could argue that, you know, it's not, you know, photorealistic, but that's the same with everything through the game. It's as realistic as we're going to get in this particular game. And I quite like this tree. I do. I'm not actually going to be doing that for all of them. I just wanted to delimb one of them to see what it was like. So that's completely delimbed there. And yes, I like this tree. I do. I really do. It's just a shame that we can't actually replant any of these trees at all. I also don't think that we can replant the palm trees, although I'm not certain of that. Now, one thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to be careful that we don't fell trees onto the field. I don't want to be doing that. We'll try and keep our wood chips well away from the field. There's going to be wood chips going everywhere. I'd like to try and get the wood chips fairly well into a heap. So what I'm thinking is that I will drag a lot of these trees into one area, and then we will use the Brux wood chipper to shred them all into wood chips. Now, there is a way that you can use the Brux wood chipper and move the trees. You've got to use it in conjunction with a trailer, and it will go to shoot the stuff into the trailer, and then it will hold a certain quantity inside the Brux wood chipper as well. So I might actually do that instead, so that we can have a nice, huge, great big area of them. So we'll take this one down here. Now I want to go all the way round field 10. I want to take everything going this way. The only it is a little bit of a nuisance that you can't see anything in between. We are going to struggle with this a little bit. And the high undergrowth. I mean, I love it. I genuinely love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant that we've got this undergrowth here, but it is going to make life difficult for us, sort of going around and seeing what we trying to see everything as we go through. So I'll just bring that one down there and cut that one off. Finding the tree stumps will also be difficult, but there is a mod now from Black Sheep Modding that it's very difficult to actually do anything with the trees themselves, but it is possible to go through and simultaneously remove the tree stumps and remove the tree stumps and then plow the ground at the same time. It looks really cool. I really do like that mod. So I'm actually thinking that we probably use that one here on this map. I think that would fit really well. Apparently I can't use this one while I'm crouched down. I can only use it at that height. I like it when it does that. I feel cheated. I've got all of this huge great big stump here that is not where I want it to be. If I can go, I can't go forward. Maybe if I go back a bit. Is it going to help me? Nope, apparently it doesn't want me to do this particular tree any lower than there, so we'll take it off at that point then. So we might try that Black Sheep Modding mod and see what that one is like, because it does look good. It does actually look like it'd be really useful for quickly going through and turning all of the tree stumps and everything into just a usable field. That's about as low as I can go right there, so we'll take that one off. Once we've taken all of these off, I want to cut the palm trees down using a tree harvester. So we will lease a tree harvester to take the palm trees down. But we won't be selling any of the logs because nobody wants me to. Well, I say nobody. A lot of people don't want me to. So we will be doing that with... We will chip everything up. Even though we're going to be using the tree harvester to cut them down, we'll try and make some piles of logs with the pine trees so that we can use the Brux chipper all in one place, and it should be a little bit easier to do it like that. And there is the mod that you can put a rope on and tow the trees around. So we will do that as well. We'll tow all the trees out and put them in a heap. I was wondering if it would be helper A has stopped unexpectedly, so everything is currently stopped at the moment. We'll worry about that next episode because we're running out of time now. I was actually thinking it might be better if we had an area that we could drag a trees to, but I don't really want to be putting it... So I was kind of thinking maybe after the harvest, but no, I want to get going with this. I want to get this job done so that we've got a huge, great big field up here, and then after the harvest, we'll then see about properly joining the fields together. But we can at least get the trees done and a lot of the ploughing work done, and then just the very last little detail of it will be done after the harvest and before we go on to the next one. So just take this one out here, and then we've got... I don't know if I'll leave this. I'm even going to leave the small pine trees. These ones over here, the pine trees, palm trees. It's palm tree. I'll leave those as well, and we'll come down over to this side. Again, I've got another tree that won't let me cut down low near the base. I've got to be standing up to be able to do this over there, which I don't really like doing. It's an awfully large tree stump to be left stuck up out of the ground. So beginning of next episode, we will just reload our seed drills and let them carry on doing what they're doing, and then Right, I've got a tree through there. I can just see it stick. Oh, no. I've already cut that one down. So let's go back to this one. And if we climb up on here, we'll be able... well, in theory, we can see around. And, right, so we've got one over there, and then we've got a few down that way. We've done everything over that way. So I want to go to this one over here and take this one out, and then we can head back the other way, because there's no more around that field there. So let's crouch down, see if we can get this one. Oh, excellent. That one let us cut down lower to the ground. Yeah, we'll reload all of the seed drills at the beginning of the next episode and let them carry on. The canola one, the small star seed drill, that one's just about finished anyway. It's only got a tiny little bit more to do, and then that one will be completely finished. And then the other seed drill, that one has got an awful lot of acreage to cover. I've got also some very, very big tree stumps that we may not be able to do with this new one. You can put it on a skid steer, so I'm hoping that we'll also be able to put that onto our telehandler, because I think the telehandler would be the right one to use for that. And then it also means that we're not going to have to go and buy any other machines or lease any other machines in order to be able to finish this job. So we're going to want that stump grinder from Black Sheep Modding. We're going to want the one that tows, and we're going to want the Brux chipper. We're going to want a Ponsse tree harvester. So we got a lot of work to do, and we got a lot of machinery that we're going to have to get. So we'll be doing that at the beginning of next episode, and then we can carry on with this. Don't forget my weekly question. Would you like me to use the those bale shed mods? And I'll just very quickly show you again. This one right here, the bale sheds right here. Would you like me to use these? You drop the bales in the front of the shed, and it auto stores them and stacks them neat and tidy into the sheds, so you don't have to physically stack them up yourselves. Do you want me to use them on this series? Yes or no? It's your vote. It's your game. Head into the comment section down below. Let us know which one you want and why. And of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right-hand corner. And then finally, tomorrow we will carry on with chopping down the rest of these trees. We've got quite a few of these to remove, and then once these are out of the way, the tree harvester stuff should be a little bit quicker, or at least it'll be quicker per tree, I should think, and it'll allow us to chop them all up anyway. And I'm wondering if we should not even bother like cutting them into small branches, or I don't know if there's a setting to actually just release the branch once you're done. Right, so I'm going to want to go like that, as low as I can. You've got to sort of do it mid-crouch to be able to do it like that. But I did manage it. I got it. So if you enjoyed the episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.